very much. Now another live with the police. Synchronicity. Sorry. The police. Miming Sting. A shared romance. Synchronicity. Oh my goodness. McDonald's. They should change their slogan from that slogan they've had for the last 22 years. It should be what Eric Clapton once sang. I can't stand it. Their food is horrible. I can't stand it. Oh my goodness. Good old Eric Clapton. I won't stand it. You're fooling around with my heart. Oh my goodness. Another Ticket. Released in 1981. See if I get any more people here. Surprised a lot of people tune on in. Let's see. Sorry if the last view was interrupted by my father. But it happens. I'm just picking some stuff up in this room here. Doing it slowly but surely like a turtle. A turtle. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. Oh boy. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It happens when you eat dinner late. And gotta figure out what else to throw out. And see what else is going on. So far, there's only one person watching me right now. Keeping on the classic rock vibes here. Music. What I had for dinner? Well, I had two DiGiorno stuffed crust cheese pizza, extra pizza. Ben Cooper, you better be a real person. If you're a bot, you are gone. And when I put on my pizza, barbecue chicken. Because I don't eat pepperoni or hamburg anymore. Not good for the old heart as you get older. Oh my goodness. So Ben, if you're a real person, and if you're a music fan, you've come to the right place. If you're one of those trolls, out you go. Oh my goodness. Trying to promote my show, not easy. Neither. Who the hell is Steve Rogan? You mean Joe Rogan? I'm on an AI. Tank fam. Tank. Let me see. You're out of here, bitch. Leave me the fuck alone. Tack fam. God damn. Thank you. Tack fam called me AI. Pin message. I'm pinning the message to let people know I'm a human being. And yeah, a real podcaster. Sonny the Legend, how's it going, eh? Doing another live feed to promote the show. TJR's Classic Rock Corner. It's a classic rock show. I don't know if I should take it as a compliment or as an insult. Pile from Full Metal Jacket. One of the best movies. Can you please shout, I love my mom? My mother's been dead for 18 years. I'm not regenerative AI either. I don't have no black screen. Are you fucking with me, Sagar? If you are, get the fuck out of here. Clark Kent, you're another bot. You're out of here. Sheesh. I'm trying to see, a lot of people are thinking I'm some sort of AI guy. Too easy to troll. I'm not. It's a finished bedroom. No, it's actually upstairs. Meaty. None of your fucking business. The internet's full of bots and trolls. Giuseppe. I just don't take shit. You don't understand. I was tracked. You know what? I'm sick and tired of... You're out of here too. Gone. Sick and tired of people. Meaty, you're gone too. You son of a bitch. This AI I'm on Drip, you're out of here too. Leave me alone, God. I'm on an AI for the 9,000th time. I'm sick and tired. I'm getting so angry. Full Metal Jacket, I've seen that movie like many times. I'm very tall. I'm like 5'11". The ceiling's like 7 feet. I'm holding the phone up in the air. I'm not draconian either. I have a 180, my intelligence level, whatever you would call it thing, the intelligence level is like at 180. AI, no. Do I believe in God? Yes. If answer this, Donald Trump is African American or Mexican? T-Train Top. I'm trying to maintain my Z. You're gone. Bye-bye. I'm trying to. It's hard. Yeah, the guy, Pyle, Sprockets, I know that movie, Full Metal Jacket, one of my favorite movies of all time. And the drill sergeant, I laugh at that part because my father is one of them. He actually retired, but I laugh when I watch that movie. 180, yeah, I am very intelligent. Show, what's my show about? Classic rock. I'm the devil, Joey Bull Gambino, whatever. AI companies, I'm not an occult guy. I'm a full-blown Catholic. Here. There's your goddamn proof that I'm a Catholic. I apologize, O Lord, for cursing in your name, but I just want to make a message. I talk about classic rock, and I talk about classic rock. Favorite classic rock band? Well, here's a very easy hint. Pink Floyd. It's not satanic. It's the Archangel Michael. It's a Catholic symbol. Oh my goodness! I've been through lives all day. It feels like it's the worst place to start. Everyone's replying to pointless comments that do nothing, and the next day the cycle continues. And I'm trying to ignore, but it's so damn difficult. Remember, I'm high functioning autistic. And we autistics are wired. I think it was actually a good thing that his dad was military intelligence, because he knew some things that Iron Maiden or AC/DC. I love both bands. I've seen Iron Maiden on the Brave New World tour in 2000, one of the best concerts I've been to. AC/DC with the classic lineup in 2001, the Stiff Upper Lip tour, and the Rocker Bus tour 2015. Really? Good. I'm proud of you, Eric. I have what's called autism spectrum disorder. I was diagnosed when I was 3. And it was a lot of hard work for me to get to where I am now. I'm not Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan's a pot-smoking Alex Jones dick sucker. I don't like either political party. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Rick from Pawn Stars. I've never watched Pawn Stars. I don't watch television. Laurel Canyon music scene. The Eagles were great. Some of the Crosby, Stills, Nash Young stuff was decent. Joni Mitchell's voice kind of great on the air, but she was a talented songwriter. I'll give her that. I never heard of no Gambino. Joe Rogan is boring. I'd rather watch paint dry than listen to that guy. Yeah, I have a warped sense of humor. Ronald, here's a joke for you. How do fleas get from Los Angeles to New York? They hop a bus. How about this one? I'll give you a hint. What's black and white and red all over and no, not a newspaper? All right. Here's what's black and white and red all over. Thank you very much. What's black and white and red all over is a skunk covered in strawberry jam. Because skunks are black and white. And strawberries are red. You pour strawberry jam on a skunk, they're gonna spray. But still, the joke was funny. Got that from a cartoon. Or it could be Lulu Bell covered in cherries. The cow from the black and white cow. Red Herbal, yeah, a dead skunk. Yeah, a dead skunk. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew. Oh, baby, time for me to. Hey, why you pour all the red on me? Why you pour strawberry on me? I didn't do nothing, man. Oh my goodness. Where am I from? I'm from Massachusetts, United States. Swamp ass. I loved a woman who wasn't clean. I I haven't dated in quite some time, but I'm not revealing my conquests in life. It's nobody's business but mine, as Don Henley once said, because I don't like to talk about personal issues because it's personal. But I will say I'm attracted to females. Kara, how do you do? Oh my goodness. Velvet Underground or Grateful Dead. Both were Rolling Stone clowns. Yeah, the song that most Police fans hate, but I think it's funny as hell. Mother. Oh my goodness. I love Don Henley. Talented man, the Eagles. Velvet Underground I just could not get into, and the Grateful Dead was too just too weird. Yeah, I just couldn't get into them. I tried. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah, the song here, Hot Curry causes a crazy ass number. What in the heck is a glory hole? Sheesh. Trying to maintain my composure here. And asking me more classic rock related questions, which is always a good thing to do. And yeah, I have episodes on Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. This guy does exist. Yes, I'm a real human being. 10 fingers, 10 toes, appendage. He was a great singer and such an open mind musically. He would take his music to different directions and keys you would have never thought of. Pure genius. Both bands are excellent. Yeah. The year I graduated high school, the top three bands of 1994 concert. Aldo Nova, his first two albums were phenomenal. Self-titled, Fantasy, See the Lights, a few other tracks. The second album, Subject, I should get that again. Monkey on Your Back, killer tune. No intellect is your downfall. Well, I'm intelligent, but I just, I do have a bit of a temper. It's the Irish in me, yes, and I shouldn't react, but it's just the way my brain's operated. Of course, I do like Aldo Nova. He should have been more bigger, but he sadly fell from grace because of some various different issues, types of music. Not intelligent. Double chocolate chip. He just has a quirky personality. You can tell. Yes, I do have a quirky personality. I'm just, I'm just me. I'm a real guy. I've learned to have a sense of humor. When people told me I was funny and they explained it was my warped sense of humor, I was like, okay, check under the floorboards. Well, I'm above in the bedroom here, and it's all right because sometimes I have to run downstairs to check on my father, who's 80 some odd years old, and make sure he doesn't slip or fall because him. Pineapple pizza, I tried that. Gee, Don Henley comes in the restaurant to eat sometimes where I play piano. Gets a table in the back and doesn't want to be bothered. I kind of don't blame him. The number three tour, top three tours of 1994, the year I graduated high school. Number three, the Eagles. Number two, the Division Bell, Pink Floyd. Number one, Voodoo Lounge, the Stones. Joe Schmo, I'm from Massachusetts. I lived in Florida and I lived in South Carolina, and they do not like rock and roll down there. Unless you call uh, Garth Brooks rock and roll. It's country. The Stones is one of my favorite bands. They're top 20, actually. Because if I didn't like the Stones, it wouldn't be in my top 20 of Echelon bands. I don't drink gray water. I actually drink regular Poland spring water. Watto. Redderville. Here's one. Here's my favorite band. moving into your car. Do what you got to do to survive. The economy's on. Yeah, I have quite a few favorite bands. Oh my goodness. Yeah, South Carolina. I used to get in a pissing contest at record stores because I was looking for like a Roxy Music album or a Supertramp album. They didn't know who either band was. David Gilmour, yep, that's my favorite guitarist of all time. And I got to see the Division Bell tour, night number 2 of 3 at Foxborough Stadium in May of '94. Skipped my senior prom to do so. Danzig. I actually prefer How the Gods Kill. I never liked the song Mother. Didn't like it then, don't like it now. But How the Gods Kill, that riff. I feel be alive. Do you know the name? So like Jim Morrison and Elvis, if they had gotten together to had a love child. Cooking videos. I'm not a good cook. My best friend Danielle's a good cook. Mr. Dirty, Mr. Clean's arch nemesis. Boston. Do you have a favorite live performance from Pink Floyd? Oh, so many of them. Foxborough Stadium, May '94. Night 2 of 3, because I was there. Boston Garden, June 27, 1977. Animals in the first half. Wish You Were Here in the second half. Dark Side Encores. Another favorite of mine. Vienna, Austria. Same tour. Let's see. Oh, boy. I'm trying to think what else. Earl's Court, May '73. Trying to think. Philadelphia '87 Momentary Lapse Tour. Linkin Park. They suck. Nirvana. Kind of grew an appreciation of my old best friend from high school, Steve, one of them. He kind of softened my view on Nirvana. Hey, I cannot. The light's too bright. I have to have the light on because I cannot see. Rage Against the Machine. They're hypocrites. Yeah. Oh, we're against the machine. Yet they signed with Epic Records for MONEY. How do I drink my coffee? Just with some light creamer. I won't put sugar in it. I have to watch my weight line. My waistline as I get older. And I'm just. Was Earl's Court '73 before Dark Side came out? The answer is no. That was May '73. The album came out in March of '73. And it went to number 1 in April '73 here in the good old US of A. Dark Side of the Moon, Bluegrass. God, I hope to God I never hear that shit again because I lived in South Carolina. That's all I heard every bloody day. Patriots fan, of course I am. 6 Super Bowls. I just knew it came out in '73. March '73, it came out. CCR, some CCR I can handle in doses. And I also am a fan of, John Fogerty's third solo album, Center Field. The album with The Old Man Down the Road, Zantz Can't Dance. The song he got in hot water for by Saul Zantz. He threatened to sue Warner Brothers, but Warner Brothers stuck up for John Fogerty, and John's like, hey, I don't want you guys going to, being sued for a song I wrote, so I'll change it to, get the guy off my back. Seal's okay. Don Henley, phenomenal talent, tormented human being. Free. If it wasn't for free, there would be no Bad Company. The background music I'm playing right now is The Police Synchronicity. That's the remastered 2 CD remastered version, which is this here. Highly recommended. And to the guy who asked me if I like Free, here's a hint. Just bear with me. Yeah, because I'm walking around like a chicken with his head cut off. Hang on. Taylor Swift. Please. Skinnerd rules. Original lineup is Skinnerd. And Free. All Right Now. Fire and Water. The Steeler, Wishing Well. Heartbreaker. Yeah. The Free Story compilation, which is long out of print. There's a song which Paul Rogers was working on when Bad Company was about to form. And yeah, because of Free, we got these boys. The original Bad Company, the only Bad Company that matters. That's the only Bad Company I like, is the original lineup. Let's see. Jefferson Airplane, too hippy-dippy for me. They had some decent tunes. White Rabbit's one of them. But I just could not get into that peace and love thing. Yeah, I have physical format. You know why? In case your internet goes down or your phone goes down or your power goes down, I still have Discman as well. I can just put it on and just listen to it. Who's Wesley Wills? Cannibal Corpse. They're funny. Sounds like the Grizzly, sounds like Cookie Monster singing. Musically, they're great, but let's see, top 5 bands. Well, number 1A is Pink Floyd. Number 1B is this band here. That's Led Zeppelin. Number 2 is Rush. Number 3 is Queen. Number 4 is the Eagles. And number 5 would be Metallica. Yeah, call me schizophrenic. And Styx. Oh, here's a hint. Hang on. Oops. The only Styx that matters, when Dennis DeYoung was in charge. Oh my goodness. There is no Styx without Dennis DeYoung. Led Zeppelin 2. One of the best albums. You got that right. The one, I enjoy the Unforgiven series. My favorites are number 3 is 2, number 2 is 3, and number 1 is 1. Oh my goodness. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Them having a hit record with Lou Reed's Walking the Wild Side made me want to throw up, in the immortal words of Roger Waters. I mean, Lou Reed didn't mind, but there's something about sampling a rock and roll artist to create a hit single that really pisses me off. Favorite Queen song? Here's a deep track for you. The Prophet Song from my favorite Queen album. A Night at the Opera. Fade to Black. I have an episode on Ride the Lightning. I go in depth about that track. And when I went to see them last August, they played 3 songs from that album. For Whom the Bell Tolls, the title track, and The Call of Cthulhu. Springsteen. Well, here's the thing. Springsteen, when he's rocking and rolling with the E Street Band, when Clarence Clemens and Danny Federici were still with us, may they lay in peace, they were kick-ass. Springsteen, after he shit-canned the E Street Band, he kind of went south and never really recovered. Rammstein. I'm not a fan of, if they sang in English, it would be For Whom the Bell Rang. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they played For Whom the Bell Tolls. America, great band. Yeah, For Whom the Bell Tolls is on Ride the Lightning. 3rd song on side 1 of the album. I did a review on Ride the Lightning. It's on the channel. Oh, John Menstrual Cramp. He makes me sick to my stomach. He hasn't done anything relevant since American Fool, I don't think. German. I mean, the only thing I can listen to in German, I guess, is the Scorpions. But they sing in English. But Porcupine Tree. Decent tune. Oh, the Authority song is a ripoff of I Fought the Law by, help me out there, Bobby Fuller, then covered by The Clash. I Fought the Law. Oh my goodness. It's the same song, just done different with different lyrics. Porcupine Tree, one of the more current bands. I'm a fan of them. Necrophagist. That's an odd name for a band. That's probably something that my old podcast, Bob Seger. Here's a quote I love to use. If you don't like America, if you don't like Bob Seger, you hate America. Bob Seger is the man, the myth, the legend, the great. Live Bullet, 9 Tonight, Stranger in Town, Against the Wind, Night Moves, The Distance, Beautiful Loser, Like a Rock, Fire Inside. A lot of great albums, a lot of great songs on those albums also. But most people don't know about The Mountain on the Fire Inside, which has Joe Walsh shredding like crazy on that Stratocaster, just going to town, not using a slide, but just shredding like crazy. And then the ending solo with Bob Seger's using a Gibson Les Paul and Joe Walsh going batshit on the Stratocaster. Do I like Rush? Well, here's a hint. Does a bear go shit in the woods? Okay, Rush. Rush. Hang on. Dang, crisp. I don't want to get the darn thing. Hang on. Here's a hint for Rush. The Moving Pictures 40th Anniversary 3 CD set. Traveling Wilburys, that's a supergroup. And 2 of the members are dead now. No, 3 of them are dead. Roy Orbison, may he lay in peace. George Harrison, may he lay in peace. And Tom Petty, may he lay in peace. All left is Jeff Lynne and great songwriter, but he can't sing for shit. Exit Stage Left. Well, actually, this is Exit Stage Left on steroids, which has all the set list of Exit Stage Left plus 2112 Overture Syrinx, Limelight, Cygnus X1 Book 2 Hemispheres, Camera Eye, Vital Signs, Natural Science, the medley of Working Man, Cygnus X1 Book 2, Armageddon, Bytorn the Snow Dog, In the End, In the Mood, 2112 Grand Finale. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Well, the Moving Pictures 40th is available at Amazon if interested. I'm not giving away my CD, no way. Crosby, Stills, Nash. When they have Neil Young, they're ass-kicking. Although CSN had some decent tunes. And yeah, I'm a fan of the song American Dream. that song in its video was classic. Yeah, and MTV played the piss out of that video back in the day. Yeah, the Allman Brothers. Well, I appreciate their music, but when you lived in the South for so many years and hearing them on classic rock stations in South Carolina every day, you kind of grew fatigued with them. Doobie Brothers. When Tom Johnston was the singer in the band, they were kick-ass. Michael McDonald kind of neutered their sound, but Tom Johnston was the rock and roll blood of that band. So I'd rather hear Tom Johnston's yeah, and him doing the lead guitar thing, because I prefer the rock and Cheap Trick. The first, let's see. The first 5, yeah. Taking It to the Streets was a great record. Turn It Loose, great Tom Johnson track. It Keeps You Running. No, Wheels of Fortune, great album track. Stampede, I Cheat the Hangman, classic. Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick. That's my opinion on Cheap Trick. Let's see. Dream Police, great album. All Shook Up, great album. Anything, the first 5 Cheap Trick albums, they did no wrong. And of course, Budokan, the expanded edition anyway. And here's an unknown fact. Cheap Trick opened up for Queen on the News of the World tour in 1977. And the guys in Cheap Trick became buddies with the members of Queen. And Rick Nielsen jokingly mocked Freddie Mercury. He got kicked out of a show. Yeah. Journey, one of the best bands that ever existed. And their drummer, their ex-drummer, Steve Smith, comes from my hometown of Whitman, Massachusetts. Fellow Bay Stater did good. God bless Smitty, the best drummer that Journey ever had. What they did to him was horrible. I mean, Steve Smith, he was the drummer for Journey. I mean, Ainsley Dunbar was okay. Well, it's the light. The Who. I've seen The Who 5 times. 89, the first concert I ever went to at 13. John Entwistle was still with us. Simon Phillips is the drummer. Quadrophenia, 2000, and then again in 2002, 2006, and 2012. Peak Jimmy Page. Before the drugs kicked in, I'd say 1973 Houses of the Holy tour and the 1975 Physical Graffiti tour and the Presence album. Excuse me. Because after recording Presence, Page's playing kind of went on the slippery slope for a while because of the heroin thing. But then his Phoenix Rising moment was Live in Peace on the Firm's Mean Business album, which I think is a better album than the first album from the Firm. They should have done more, but Paul Rogers didn't want to. Yeah, I mean, I like all eras of Zeppelin, but the trouble is some early Zeppelin live with Robert Plant screaming too much was a little too ear fatigue. When he sang some of those songs in later years, he lost the range, but he gained more of a passion for singing. I respect your opinion on that. And then my favorite Robert Plant solo albums were the first two. That's because Phil Collins was the drummer. Eric Clapton, phenomenal guitarist, but his solo career is hit or miss. I think the best thing he ever did was his guest appearance on this particular album. Wait for it. No, not Derek and the Dominoes. Eric Clapton's best contribution was playing guitar on this album. This was the first Roger Waters solo album, Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Genesis, interesting you ask. Wind and Wuthering, second album, Phil Collins on drums. Booty Bandit. Daryl, are you for real? If you're thank you next. To quote Vince McMahon, you're fired. I'm not gay. I'm not into sausage. I'm not into strudel. I'm into pie, coconuts, and watermelon. Euphemisms for all female the species. Oh my God. Sorry. Oh boy. Slow Hand. Great guitarist. Even some of his guest appearances were great. Eddie Money. Great singer. May he lay in peace. The first album was great. Everybody rock and roll the place. Whenever I hear that, I think of Johnny Fever playing darts and using Barry Manilow as a target for one of the darts. Everybody rock and roll the place. Doink, right through the nose. And then No Control. Great album. Shaken. I Think I'm in Love. The title track where Eddie Money's blowing on that blues harmonica. I got no control. No control. Great track. ZZ Top, the old band from Texas. Have mercy. I just listened to a live concert of theirs from 1980. Pre-Eliminator. That's when they just grew the beards. They were kick-ass in 1980. And then, Loverboy opened up for ZZ Top in 81 on the El Loco tour. That was when Loverboy were finishing the touring cycle for their debut album. How's it going, Daryl? Just trying to make sure my throat doesn't close up on me. Stevie Ray Vaughan was amazing. You got that right. And if it wasn't for David Bowie, the world wouldn't have heard his guitar playing. His guitar playing on Let's Dance alone made that album. In fact, that was the first David Bowie album I ever owned as a 7-year-old back in 83. My mom had it on vinyl, and then December of 83 for Christmas bought me the cassette. Loverboy was an underrated band. Yeah. Especially when they did the 3-album run of Get Lucky, Keep It Up, and Loving Every Minute of It. The song Steal the Thunder. You thought his scream on, what's that song? Turn Me Loose was one thing. Listen to the end of Steal the Thunder. He screams 3 F sharps in consecutive. Steal the Thunder, actually 4 consecutive high F sharp screams of it. Oh, man. Thaddeus 1412, how's it going? Walking Q-tip. Well, it's not my fault, dude. What am I supposed to do? I have to pace around. I don't want to be getting stiff bones. Some people can sit and wind up with arthritis in their hip. May have to get up and hold my phone and walk because I do these darn things. And yes, one of the finer progressive rock bands. Favorite albums from them. Anything between 71 and 77. Midnight Oil. Ugh. This is what I think of Midnight Oil. Puts me to sleep. Sorry. Oh my goodness. What do you think about Kiss? I feel like Kiss would have had a longer run in popularity if not for Van Halen. Yeah, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons were all about the money as of 78. And I agree. I agree. And Van Halen, those first 6 albums with Roth, that solidified their legacy once and for all. Because if they didn't do those albums, sorry if I'm yawning, I'm starting to get a little tired. Dude. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I don't think we'd have the music we have. I'm just a little tired here. Let's see. All right, Daryl. I thought you were going to be a good egg. I have to kick you out. I don't want to hear about Puff Daddy. I don't want to hear about that rap shit on here. There's no rapper country nonsense to be found on my show here. Yeah, exactly. In Excess, overlooked band. It's a shame what happened to Michael Hutchins. I think his death was accidental because he had no intention of ending his own life. And he had many conversations with Bono, about how sad Kurt Cobain, took his life. Kurt Cobain killing himself was horrible. And we just, who are you, Pet Shop Boys? I'm not a fan. How do I know you, Yato? Are you a real account or are you some robot dude? I'm starting to get tired. I apologize if I'm yawning. It's late here on the East Coast. It's 10 minutes before 3. I'm starting to get sleepy. Am I a pimp? Are you a sicko? You're gone. Yeah. I'm now trying to learn how to get rid of posters who are just trying to get a rise out of me, get me all bent out of shape. Oh, let's see. Rumpelstiltskin. I'm reporting your ass, you asshole. Harassment. You're gone. I apologize. Favorite band from the grunge era? Well, let's see. Probably Alice in Chains, because they weren't really your typical grunge band. They were more of a heavy metal band. In fact, had such a good rapport with bands like, trying to think. Yeah, they played with Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer at the Clash of the Titans tour. They also toured with Van Halen during the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour. And I learned that Alice in Chains may have been singing doom and gloom shit, but they were the biggest bunch of goofballs you had ever seen in your life because they had the wackiest sense of humor. Because I watched their Headbangers Ball appearances on MTV and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, shit, these guys may sing about depression, but those guys are fucking goofballs. They were lovable goofballs. It's one of the strangest dichotomies. You had a band that sang about these horrible subjects, but they were clowns. They were goofballs. They're like, hey, we don't take ourselves seriously. If not for that Van Halen tour, Lane would have not been dead so soon. Yeah, because him touring with Van Halen, that was like his happiest moment in his life was opening up for his heroes. And Jerry Cantrell couldn't believe that Van Halen asked him to do the tour with him. They're like, the Van Halen fans are going to lynch us. And they're like, hey, we love your first album. We want you on the tour. And then the fans were actually saying Man in the Box because it was a rock radio hit. And they're like, shit, the Van Halen fans do love us. And then Van Halen would be pulling practical jokes on them. And then one time they walked on the stage in Speedos, mocking the walk of Sammy Hagar and Eddie Van Halen and Michael Anthony. And Eddie Van Halen was laughing his ass off. Michael Anthony was laughing his ass off. Sammy was laughing his ass off. And Alex Van Halen couldn't even play the drums because he was laughing hysterically. Oh, my goodness. David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? Well, I go with Roth. Reason being is because it was my early childhood. Diver Down was actually the first Van Halen album I owned. A year before 1984, as a matter of fact. So everyone's like, oh, I got it in 1984. I'm like, I beat you to it by over a year. My oldest sister, Tony, may she lay in peace, had Diver down on vinyl. Van Halen was so smart because they purposely asked them to open for them because they were slightly intimidated by the rising popularity of the grunge era. Aerosmith, one of the other greatest bands, and Red Orville. Here's another fact. The Cars opened for Styx, and the guys in the Cars may not have liked Styx, but Dennis DeYoung was the biggest Cars fan. It was his idea because he knew that new wave and punk were the future. He's like, our progressive rock is doomed. We got to change. If we don't change, you know. Joe Schmo, Aerosmith. Here's your proof of Aerosmith fandom. One of the best albums they ever made, Rocks. Although I'm doing an episode now on Toys in the Attic, which is coming out soon. Living Color. Their first two albums were phenomenal. Yeah. The first Cars album was great. Gene Pickney, who the hell is that? Yeah, anyway. The Cars opening for Styx. The Cars guys may not have been. Well, Joe Perry, on the other hand, is a Trump supporter. The rest of the guys in Aerosmith support Trump. It's just Steven Tyler is being a little. Yeah. Yeah, most of the guys in Aerosmith are Republican anyway. You know, Joe Perry, major Trump supporter. Yeah. And Joe Perry's one of my favorite members of Aerosmith, him and Brad Whitford. In fact, Brad Whitford, I really respect Ted Nugent and Joan Jett. Nothing compared to him. She didn't even sell 100,000 singles. 40 million in albums. You got that right. Ted Nugent, people forget that between 1975 and 1981, Ted Nugent was one of the biggest selling acts on Epic Records. And here's a little fact for you. He puts out this killer live album. Just bear with me. Intensities in 10 Cities. All new tracks, including Heads Will Roll. Played Joe Perry. He's not a Trump supporter. Yeah. Ted Nugent, Intensities in 10 Cities. Classic album. Love this album. But here's the problem. That the moment that album was released, this thing was so huge. REO Speedwagon, High Infidelity. Oh my goodness. It's madness. I mean, Dennis DeYoung is right, though, about politics. It's a surefire way to divide your fan base. And Dennis hasn't voted since 2008. After Obama screwed up the first time, he was done. He said, I'm not voting for nobody anymore. Because, yes. Yeah, Joe Perry does support things. I love the Stones, but they did Skinner dirty. If it wasn't for the Stones, Ronnie wouldn't have had the idea to become a singer. Well, the Stones got upstaged by Skinner at Netport 76. And in the audience and witnesses to it were Paul McCartney and David Gilmour. They're like, yep, the Stones are toast. Yeah, Netport 76. Pink Floyd and Gilmour and McCartney were like, the Stones are a joke right now. And Skinner, they're the real deal. But yeah, but it's like I said about Dennis DeYoung and his things. I mean, his two favorite presidents were, and I agree with him, one was president when I wasn't alive yet, and the other was president during my childhood. JFK and Ronald Reagan. My goodness, Hunt. God, leave me alone, please. Merci beaucoup. Anyway, Ronald Reagan, the last president to win just about every state in the United States except for Minnesota and Rhode Island. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt. That was way before my time. Skinner plays their notes, their souls note for note live, which most bands do not do at the time. JFK. Local boy, loved him. And Reagan, he got us out of one of the worst recessions in history. And he was the last president who, and he was the last president to sit down and solve issues with Tip O'Neill over a bottle of bourbon. Those two would get so shit faced. Hey, Tip, I'll cut a deal with you. Hey, Ronnie, let's slash the deficit. I'll help you with this bill. You got a deal. Go, go, go. Hey, can I have another drink? Go, go, go. Those two would get permanently pissed. And then Reagan was so loved he won the entire country except Minnesota in 1984. I was 8 years old in 1984, and it was, a lot of people like, sheesh, oh, we don't like Reagan. I go, well, he wasn't involved in the Falklands War back in 1982, 83. It was a because Margaret Thatcher tried to get Reagan into it. He's like, we got our own stuff to deal with, Maggie. You're on your own. I got to get America out of this bad deficit. Our country's in big trouble here. Skinner was not an experimental band, no ifs, ands, or buts. He changed your song slowly as the years went on, but it was just a consistent change. It was mostly just the guitar. And here's a fact for you. Queen and Skinner did a bill together and some shows together in Germany. Turns out there was almost a fist fight between Roger Taylor and the band. Because Roger Taylor goes, I remember they played Freebird and it went on for like 3 fucking hours. And they had to have 3 guitarists where I think we only needed one. And they were intimidated by these fancy boys. I remember when Reagan won, it was a big celebration. You're damn right it was. Even New York and Massachusetts voted for Reagan in a landslide fashion. Carter got romped. And then you saw Peter Jennings eat humble pie on the air. He's like, the normally Democrat stranglehold of Massachusetts. Yeah, they tried to take out Reagan in 1981. It failed, and he became like the most popular president in my lifetime anyway. Yeah. And that was the year rock and roll reigned supreme on the Billboard album chart. 1981. You had albums from Rush, Styx, REO Speedwagon, AC/DC. I think I said Rush already. Yeah. Rolling Stones, Foreigner. Yeah. Reagan was getting old, was getting older and older. And I think by the time 86 rolled around, he was slowly developing Alzheimer's by then, sadly. As it turns out, that's what happened. So George Bush kind of shadow ran Things. George Bush the first was shadow running shit as of 86. And it was like, Ronald, I'll handle this. I'll just say you came up with the idea. Yeah, George H.W. Shanghaied. Yeah, Bush. Yeah. I mean, the just say no. I mean, I never touched drugs because I saw what. Yeah, Reagan was still a great president. You got that right. He did a lot of good things. In fact, my father won many presidential citations from Reagan for being a U.S. Army recruiter back in the day. Countless ones. Warren Zevon, underappreciated talent. Lawyers, Guns, and Money, Werewolves of London, Sentimental Hygiene, Run Straight Down, which featured David Gilmour on the guitar. Killer track. Yeah. And everyone's like, how did Zevon get Gilmour to play on it? Well, they had to FedEx the tapes to London because David was mixing Delicate Sound of Thunder. Geneticus. You are one sick freak. You know what? You're gone. I don't like, I apologize, folks. It's just I don't like trolls bothering me, especially putting up stupid questions they want me to read. They think I'm some sort of sick pervert or something. What's wrong with people? I'm still trying to stay awake here. I'm trying to promote the show here. I have a Dire Straits episode coming soon, another Police episode. And I think I'll do another episode on this particular band I'm about to play, which is these four boys from Liverpool, these 4 Liverpudlians. the early 80s, great time, Colombian Gold. Yeah. And bands like Rush, Judas Priest, Rush, Judas Priest and things finally got to have some success. Chris Brown sucks. He's a piece of work. I'm 5'11". The ceiling's like 7 feet tall. Hang on. I'm just trying to get rid of this. I'm just starting to get tired, folks. I'm just a little fatigued. I'm trying not to have an anxiety attack. Kyle, camera angle, yeah. And I'm just wailing, sadly. A tortured soul. One of the many Gen X singers who died from either suicide or OD. He couldn't conquer or exorcise his demons or drugs. You got that right. Yeah. Chris Brown is the greatest of all time because he beat up a woman and got away with it. Yeah, a woman-beaten coward. I mean, I know not to hit a woman. In fact, it's one thing I frown upon. Because one of my best friends was a victim of domestic abuse. And I was going to drive up the highway, find him, and strangle and shoot him. I was ready to I was going to put him in the hospital bed. Because no way in hell, because it's the Irish in me. And the girl that did it was the girl that got hit was my best friend from college. She's Italian. And it happened on my 30th birthday. That's why I didn't get a phone call from her on my 30th birthday so many years ago. Because I was like, something's wrong here. Because she was always calling me on my birthday, happy birthday, wishing me a happy birthday. I knew something was up. And then as I was reading my mom's obituary on the internet, it said domestic dispute. What do you tell a woman with 2 black eyes? I don't know what. Anyway, I digress. She's already been told twice. Oh, man. Dark humor. Oh, my goodness. I don't do drugs, honcho. Anyway. Yeah. I'm half Irish. So I was so pissed off about the guy beating up my friend, I was going to go find the dude and strangle him. Then eventually he saw what it looked like and he almost crashed his truck into a telephone pole. Because he, with a bald head like this and me being athletic and things, I looked at him and gave him like the look like, I know what you did to her, you bastard. You try anything, I swear I'll murder you. I'm very protective of my women friends. And, yeah, thinks I'm a sweet. It's not so much a don't hit women, it's just don't abuse anyone with unwanted intentions. But obviously I'm not advocating for hitting women. My mom used to punch me when she was angry, never hit her back. My mom never hit me once. My mom never laid a hand on me, ever. The parent that did was my father. Yeah, my mom had to handle me differently because I'm autistic. She was just like, had to deal with me in a different way because of my autism spectrum disorder. She's like, well, because one time I was having a breakdown, I put my head through a window and broke it. So I wouldn't get grounded or beaten. She took the hit. She took the blame for me. She's like, Terrence, I'll say I broke it putting the pot in there. And she's like, gotta learn to harness that temper of yours. I'm like, sorry. She goes, it's okay. I'm an Irish and we can. Absolutely. He's very protective of his friends, and even if they're jerks and wrong. Yeah. I just I just don't put up with crap. I mean, I've stuck up for friends who were, beaten up by cowardly men. In fact, I beat up one friend who was slightly heavy framed, but she wound up losing all that weight in later years from diet and exercise because the teacher I had in 8th grade was a sexist pig, called her a fat, rhymes with runt, but begins with a C. Autism is just an excuse. Well, not really. Autism spectrum disorder is not an excuse. It's actually the way, it's hard to explain it's not an excuse. It's just I have so many things, not just autism, but also anxiety. But I don't take anything for it because I have to live life. Yeah, you ain't kidding. I was convinced by my family that they gave me a booster shot when I was like 2 or 3 years old and I developed autism, which could have been the case because I was communicating fine like a normal baby. And then all of a sudden one day I had the first symptom of autism, which was echolalia, which would be me saying, repeating what others say. They'd be saying, "Hey, how are you?" And I go, "Hey, how are you? Are you all right? Are you all right?" They thought I was, they thought I was trolling, and I was having these quirky behaviors. So then they rushed me to the hospital. This was in 1979. I think it has to do with the processed foods. No, I had a tainted shot with mercury in it. When I was given a booster shot, I had mercury in it, and it did something to my bloodstream that it basically screwed everything up. That's why I developed autism when I was diagnosed when I was 3, and I've had to deal with it. And I had to work hard on my social skills. I had to go through speech therapy. I had to go through everything just to get to where I am now. Graduated from high school in my class in 94. In fact, it's now 31 years to the day since I graduated high school. And I did not ever take the COVID vaccine. No way, Jose. In fact, I still scream when I get a pinprick. They start screaming like Robert Plant. Thank you. I'm much obliged, Corpse Man. I'm doing very well. It's because I take care of myself. I mean, to come a long way. Yeah, you didn't take it either. Good. There's a lot of us who didn't. My best friend from college didn't. She's now, she wound up raising her son by herself. So I kind of became like father figure to the kid. And she's like, Terrence, I'm convinced that shot you had when you were 3 caused your autism. I go, yeah, it most certainly did. Look at that humongous bald head. I hope you're not trolling me, dude. I'm not Sean Morrison rocks. It's just right in the center of this. I'm not staring at you. Oh my goodness. Hang on one sec. Oops. Oh my God. Moderna. Yeah, then you have to find another job that won't allow you to, that you can get, which you won't have to do the shots. Yeah, I pretty much retired from the work field in 2008 because I have sensory issues, which is autism related, because screaming kids and the type of work I love to do, which was record store jobs, were taken away by some people who just like to stream music, amongst other things. People who use the excuse that they had to do it because they would almost lose their jobs are the same ones that tried to escape those of us who refused. Exactly. One of my best friends, who I've known now for 38 years, had to do it. My best friend from college, she refused. And she also voted for our current president, like I did. I'm trying to make money on YouTube. That's why I'm doing these live feeds. Is I'm trying to, help fund the show. I'm trying to. My sister has autism. She can't stand the feeling of certain fabrics. It's very tricky. No one asked. Certain things really bother me. Thank you very much, Redurval. I appreciate that. Any little thing to help get this channel and my show off the ground, great, because I'm trying to do promotion and it's so darn difficult, especially when you're a one-man crew. And I started this podcast thing 11 years ago with Rock Metal Combat when I was part of Rock Metal Combat, but then they said I was fired, but I wasn't fired. I actually wound up quitting because one of the co-hosts said a harsh thing about my father. They wanted me to put my father in a chokehold. Cannot stand cotton on my skin, cotton balls and grass. Well, I cannot stand being dirty. I freak out when I see dirt on me. And Certain smells cause me to go bonkers. Screaming kids, I have to wear earplugs when I go to church. Sad as it sounds, I know. When I go to concerts, I also have to wear earplugs. Excuse me, because certain sounds when we make my eardrums go like this. I like watching live streams of small channels. It just makes it more real. And I can actually say something and not have it buried beneath 60 other chats. You know, it's a slow building process, my man. Corpse Mankind. Well, here's my favorite band. Roger Waters, Richard Wright, David Gilmour, and a Nick Mason. Pink Floyd. G.G. Allen. He was one crazy dude. May he lay in peace. Oh my goodness. Jack the Beanstalk. You're out of there. Yeah, to quote to the guy who left me crappy things, Jack the Beanstalk, you're out of there. Baseball jargon, so I had to be like an umpire. You're out. How about that? Oh my goodness. Well, here's Greta Van Fleet for you. The guitarist, the guitarist Jake Kiska, who's the twin brother of the singer, who's a bad version Robert Plant. The guitarist is a better singer than his brother. And he has a band called Mirador. And their singer is more of a higher tenor. And and Jake Kiska is a baritone. So that's like hearing, kind of give me like Spooky Tooth, Supertramp vibes. The band's with two singers, two different styles, but create great music. I'm a fan of bands with multiple singers. Oh my God. What kind of pets do I have? None. Yeah. And people give Kingdom Come a bad rap, claiming they were Zepp clones. I'm like, there was only two Zepp clone songs on their first album. Get It On, which took Black Dog, The Ocean, and Cashmere and put it into one, in rock and roll, put it into one blender. And then, I mean, the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet, let me say this. He's just a woke version of Robert Plant. Robert Plant, at least, he got himself more women than Frank Sinatra. Oh my goodness. He's a wannabe Robert Plant. Pets are just too much hassle, too much hassle to take care of. Christian rock. The second to last album from Kansas with Carrie Livgren, Final Confessions, was more Christian overtone. All right. Getting rid of these weirdo guys. And I apologize if I'm getting tired, folks. It's been a long day. And can't believe I've been doing 2 live video feeds in a row at this time. And I'm starting to get a little sleepy. And starting to get a little droopy, but I'm trying to, hang on a sec. Just trying to get some things ready for eBay. And starting to get tired here. It's almost 3:30 in the morning. So those of you who tune on in to part 2 of my live stream, I'm thankful for you. And those of you who subscribed, I appreciate that. New episodes will be coming soon. Aerosmith, Dire Straits, Iron Maiden, etc., etc., etc. 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. It's Eastern Standard Time here in the States, and it's almost 3:30 in the morning, so I'm starting to get tired. And I hate to say goodbye, but I got to do what I got to do. But I'll be back hopefully in the next day or two. I'll be back in the next day or 2 or 3 with an update on another live stream on the upcoming episode. So I have to get going because I have to get some sleep. I'm starting to fall asleep here. But thanks for tuning on in. You all rule. I love you. Stay safe, and God bless you.